Your dad had a Craftsman wrench. Probably got it from his dad. And if it ever broke, he walked into Sears, handed it to the guy behind the counter, and walked out with a brand new one. No receipt, no questions. That was the deal for almost 70 years. Today, Craftsman is owned by a Fortune 500 conglomerate that paid $900 million for the name, promised to bring manufacturing back to America, built a factory in Texas, and then quietly shut it down and moved production to Mexico. The lifetime warranty? It now requires a specific retailer, a specific process, and a whole lot of patience. But here's the thing. Craftsman is not even the most interesting part of this story. I spent an embarrassing number of hours digging into the power tool industry, and what I found is that almost everything you think you know about the brands in your garage is either outdated or deliberately misleading. Two corporations you have probably never heard of control nearly every tool brand on the shelves at Home Depot and Lowe's. They sell you the same tools under different names at different prices. They designed your battery system specifically so you cannot leave. And the YouTube reviews helping you decide what to buy. Many of them are paid for by the same companies making the tools. This is the tool industry's dirty secret. And it is costing you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. But before we talk money, we need to talk about the illusion of choice. Walk into any Home Depot or Lowe's and you will see a rainbow of tool brands. DeWalt in yellow, Milwaukee in red, Ryobi in green, Craftsman in that classic red and black, Ridgid in orange, Black+Decker, cobalt. It looks like a competitive marketplace. It is not. Stanley Black+Decker, headquartered in Connecticut, owns DeWalt, Craftsman, Black+Decker, Porter Cable, Stanley, Irwin, Lenox, and Bostitch. That is one company controlling the yellow aisle, the red and black aisle, and the budget aisle all at the same time. On the other side, Techtronic Industries, a Hong Kong-based conglomerate most people have never heard of, owns Milwaukee, manufactures Ryobi cordless tools, produces Ridgid power tools under license, and makes Hart tools exclusively for Walmart. TTI just hit $15.3 billion in annual revenue, with over half of its manufacturing happening in China. I personally think this is the most underrated part of the entire tool industry story, because the brand tiering is not accidental. It is the whole business model. DeWalt sits at the top for professionals, Craftsman in the middle for weekend warriors, Black+Decker at the bottom for casual buyers. Same parent company, same corporate boardroom, different colored plastic. And the origin story of DeWalt is honestly kind of hilarious once you know it. In 1992, a Black+Decker executive named Michael Hammes looked at what Honda did with Acura and thought, we should do that with power tools. So they took existing Black+Decker professional tools, painted them yellow, slapped the dormant DeWalt name on them, and sold them at a premium. Parts number comparisons from that era show the transmission, motor, brushes, and chuck of certain DeWalt and Black+Decker drills were identical components. The only difference was the shell. But the brand game is just the warm-up. The real money machine is something sitting in your charger right now. Here's where the tool industry goes from clever to calculated. Every major brand uses a proprietary battery platform. Milwaukee runs M18 and M12. DeWalt has 20-volt max and flex volt. Makita has 18-volt LXT and 40-volt XGT. Ryobi uses 1+. And none of them work with each other. Once you buy 3 or 4 tools on one platform, you have got $600 to over $1,000 in batteries and chargers. Switching brands means abandoning all of it. And the brands know this. Now here is the part that genuinely made me angry when I found the numbers. A typical 18-volt, 5-amp-hour lithium-ion battery costs roughly $15 to $30 to manufacture. The raw lithium cells run about $100 per kilowatt hour, which works out to around $9 for the cells in a standard pack. Add the battery management board, the plastic housing, and assembly, and you're looking at maybe $30 total. These same batteries retail for $99 to over $200. A Makita 18-volt 5-amp-hour battery sells for $210 at Home Depot in the United States. The exact same battery sells for roughly $100 in Japan. Industry analysts estimate that battery and accessory sales generate 40 to 60% of power tool manufacturers' total profit, with margins double or triple what they make on the tools themselves. And they are not just relying on habit to keep you locked in. About 3/4 of major brands embed verification logic in their battery management systems, specifically to reject third-party and cross-brand batteries. Makita's Star Protection System rejects aftermarket packs outright. Milwaukee reportedly verifies tool serial numbers in real time, and here is the kicker. DeWalt, 20-volt max. Porter Cable 20-volt, Craftsman 20-volt, and Black+Decker. 20-volt batteries all use the same slide mount form factor. Same parent company, remember? But they mold physical interference tabs into the plastic specifically to prevent you from using a Craftsman battery in a DeWalt tool. Users have literally filed down plastic tabs and made them work. Oh, and one more thing. DeWalt's 20-volt max branding? Those are 18-volt batteries. 20 volts is peak voltage straight off the charger. In Europe, where regulations are stricter, the identical batteries are labeled 18 volts. It is pure marketing math. But the deception goes deeper than batteries. The next one involves the American flag on your toolbox. DeWalt wraps its packaging in red, white, and blue with the phrase, "Built in the USA," with global materials. Sounds great. It also has no legal definition with the Federal Trade Commission. None. The FTC's actual Made in USA standard requires that all or virtually all content be domestic. Built in the USA with global materials is a marketing phrase that a company can put on anything assembled on American soil from foreign parts. What does that look like in practice? DeWalt's US facilities are primarily assembly plants. Circular saws from China, drills assembled from Mexican components, miter saws from China and Taiwan. The yellow shell might get screwed together in North Carolina, but the guts traveled across an ocean to get there. Milwaukee trades on its Wisconsin name and headquarters, but all M18 and M12 cordless power tools are manufactured in China. A retail audit found the majority of Milwaukee hand tools made in China and Taiwan, with impact wrenches coming from Vietnam and reciprocating saws from China. In 2023, U.S. lawmakers questioned Milwaukee's parent company about allegations that Chinese suppliers used forced prison labor to manufacture work gloves. A lawsuit was filed. The Craftsman story is the one that really gets me, though. After Stanley Black+Decker bought the brand for $900 million, the CEO promised to bring back American manufacturing. They invested $90 million in a 425,000 square foot factory in Fort Worth, Texas. It was supposed to employ 500 people and produce 60 million tools per year. The automated systems failed. The plant never reached capacity. It employed 175 workers instead of 500. And in March 2023, they shut it down entirely and opened new plants in Mexico. If you actually want tools made in America, and I mean genuinely manufactured here, the list is short. Channellock has been making pliers in Meadville, Pennsylvania since 1886. Estwing forges hammers in Rockford, Illinois. Klein Tools produces core electrician tools in Illinois, New York, and Texas. These brands deserve your attention precisely because they are the exception. Now you might be thinking, at least I can trust the reviews to sort this out, right? Yeah, about that. Tool companies pay YouTube creators between $2,000 and over $50,000 per sponsored video, depending on the channel size. Dedicated product reviews command 5 to 10 times more than a simple mention. Meanwhile, YouTube ad revenue pays only $2 to $8 per 1,000 views. Sponsorships pay $20 to $30 per 1,000 views. If you're a tool YouTuber, the math is brutal. Honest criticism loses money. Enthusiasm pays the mortgage. But the structural problems go beyond direct payments. Brands send pre-production or cherry-picked review units, creating inherent sample bias. The drill you see tested on camera might not be the same drill sitting on the shelf at Home Depot. Negative reviews perform poorly in the YouTube algorithm because they generate shorter watch time and more negative engagement, making honesty economically self-destructive. In June 2025, Lowe's launched its Creator Network, and I actually read the terms of the agreement, because apparently I hate free time. Creators must grant Lowe's direct access to their entire YouTube channel analytics. there's an exclusivity clause barring them from working with competitors, and Lowe's gets a perpetual, irrevocable license to repurpose anything the creator makes. Home Depot launched its own version in December 2025 with affiliate commissions of $20 to $200 per qualified lead. The channels that actually test independently stand out because they are so rare. Project Farm funds everything through viewer Patreon donations and buys every product himself. AVE does teardown analysis of internal component quality. These are the exceptions that prove how broken the system is. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I cover tool industry breakdowns and honest buying guides every week. Now let us talk about the pricing games happening at the stores themselves. There's a concept called minimum advertised price, or MAP, that most consumers have never heard of. Tool manufacturers set minimum prices below which retailers cannot advertise. Violate MAP, and you lose your authorized dealer status. After a 2007 Supreme Court ruling, enforcement of these policies intensified across the industry. What this means in practice is that the price you see at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Amazon is often not a competitive market price. It is a coordinated floor. Milwaukee takes this further than anyone. They do not authorize any dealers on Amazon. Zero. Every Milwaukee tool you see on Amazon comes from unauthorized resellers with no manufacturer warranty guarantee. Counterfeit batteries are especially rampant. Ohio Power Tool reports that fake Milwaukee battery packaging has reached 99.9% accuracy and replication. If you bought a Milwaukee battery on Amazon and it died after 3 months, there is a real chance it was never a real Milwaukee battery. And then there is the sale price illusion. A consumer watchdog study tracking 25 national chains for 24 weeks found that Amazon's reference prices were higher than any price charged in the previous 90 days more than half the time. During Prime Day 2025, nearly 55% of products showed no real price drop in the preceding weeks. Home Depot runs perpetual sales. Spring Black Friday in April. Father's Day sales. July 4th sales. Labor Day sales. And their year-round tool deals of the day. When everything is always on sale, nothing is actually on sale. But the most personal betrayal might be what happened to the warranties your family relied on for decades. That Craftsman lifetime warranty I mentioned at the beginning? It was introduced in 1934. For the better part of a century, broken Craftsman wrenches functioned almost like currency. People would find them at yard sales, in junk drawers, even in trash cans, walk into any Sears, and walk out with a replacement. No receipt needed. After the acquisition, the full lifetime warranty became a limited lifetime warranty, which is a legally distinct and weaker classification under federal law. The process changed too. Instead of any Sears, you have to take tools to a Lowe's location that may or may not stock a replacement or navigate a customer service process online. YouGov tracking data shows Craftsman's quality perception score dropped from 61 to 55 between 2014 and 2017, with purchase consideration falling from 57 to 47%, the biggest decline in the entire tools category. Ridgid's lifetime service agreement sounds incredible on paper. Free batteries, parts, and service for the life of the tool. The reality is a bureaucratic obstacle course. You must register within 90 days of purchase. It only applies to tools bought at Home Depot. You need a valid government ID for service. You have to use authorized Ridgid service centers, not Home Depot stores. And if you get a replacement tool, you have to re-register that replacement within 90 days or lose coverage entirely. Users widely report registration rejections, sometimes past the 90-day Home Depot return window, leaving them with a tool and no warranty at all. I personally think the warranty situation is the clearest signal of where the industry is heading. They are not selling you tools anymore. They are selling you a subscription to an ecosystem, and the fine print keeps getting smaller. So what does an informed buyer actually do with all of this? After all this research, here's what I actually changed about how I buy tools. First, I stopped treating brand names like identities. DeWalt and Black+Decker share DNA. Ridgid and AEG are the same tools with different stickers. Cobalt is manufactured by a Chinese company called Irwin that also makes Skill, Ego, and Flex. The brand on the label tells you almost nothing about what is inside. Second, I started treating my battery platform choice as the most expensive decision in my workshop, not the table saw. Not the miter saw, the batteries. Yep, because once you are in, the switching cost is real. For budget DIY, Ryobi's One Plus platform has over 300 tools on a system that has maintained backward battery compatibility since 1996. That is almost 30 years of not stranding your investment. For someone finishing a basement or building a deck, that ecosystem depth matters more than whether Milwaukee's impact driver has 50 more foot-pounds of torque. Third, I check Camel before any Amazon tool purchase. It is free. It shows you the real price history, and it will tell you immediately whether that 40% off deal is genuine or manufactured. I also stopped buying Milwaukee on Amazon entirely because of the counterfeit and unauthorized dealer problem. Fourth, hand tools from Harbor Freight's Icon and Pittsburgh Pro lines carry a lifetime warranty at a fraction of brand name prices. Their Icon roller cabinets hold 8,000 pounds versus Snap-on's 3,600 pounds at roughly 1/5 the cost. Avoid their cheapest power tool brands, but their professional tier hand tools are legitimately good. And fifth, flip the tool over. Read the fine print. If the country of origin matters to you, the answer is almost always printed in tiny letters on the bottom of the tool. Not on the red, white, and blue marketing banner on the front of the box. The tool industry's biggest advantage is that most buyers never look behind the logo. Now you have. If you made it to the end of this one, hit subscribe. You are clearly the kind of person who wants the real information, not the sponsored version.